Yo, what's going on, everybody? I'm Steezy, and thank you for checking out today's video. We've got episode number 4 of What the Fuck. Today I'm going to be talking about pretty much everything that happened at Los Angeles homestand. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm looking dapper today because I'm actually on my lunch break from work. So let's talk about CDL. I'm going to go really fast through all these things. You can tell I've got my categories down here. What we're going to talk about. So real quick, if you did not have a chance to watch CDL Los Angeles and you need a few matches to watch, these are the ones. I just wanted to throw these out there. These are probably the ones that I had the most fun watching, or they were the most entertaining. I'm not going to tell you what happens in them. Just watch them. There are fantastic things. Obviously, you need to watch the finals. First one is Optic Gaming. Are they getting better? FaZe versus Rocker. And Celium has this one play on Hardpoint, I think it is. It's just absolutely probably the best Call of Duty play, period. And then, of course, the finals. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first topic I want to talk about is the substitutes. How did the substitutes perform? Let's go ahead and go into this knowing that they're going to suck. Knowing that they're going to suck, because all of them had a very short period of time. I think maybe Pander had a little bit more. A very short period of time to actually gel with the team. So Seattle Surge had Pander. Just statistics don't say everything, but this kind of gives you an idea. He sucked balls at S&D, but if you can get around a 1.0 on your on anything, you're pretty good for your team. So, not the best S&D, but it's, pretty good. Not bad at all. The S&D can be worked on pretty good, I think so too. And the funny thing is Seattle replaced Enable with Pander because their S&D sucked. So that's something to make note of. Also, Pander is a permanent fix on the team. That will not be the case on some of these. All right, the next, let's skip LA Gorillas, actually. The next is Pharaoh. He did, again, kind of same as Pander, just hovering around the 1 KD on. The respawns in the S&D wasn't the best, which, I mean, it makes sense. S&D is one of those things that your team has to be gelling on really good. So a fun thing to note about this is I think there were talks, I've heard a couple people slip, saying that Pharaoh's going to be on Florida Mutineers, but he's not replacing Prestini. So we'll put that like that. So he's probably going to be a mainstay on this team. All right, next is New York's decision to bench Trey or Zero and pick up Happy. And his S&D is a 1, but if you look at his hardpoint, it's 0.7, and his Dom is 0.4. So, whatever. I think, though, this was just for this weekend. They are going to be announcing probably today or in the next couple days an actual replacement for Happy, because this was not the intended purpose. Anyways, LA Girls ended up having 3, and this was Blast's best statistic. There we go. I couldn't think of the word I was wanting. Blast's best statistic was a 0.8 on hardpoint. Sparks was his best KD across the whole weekend was a 0.76 in Search and Destroy, and then Vivid was a 0.133 S&D KD. That is, watching him play S&D was phenomenal. So I think that this team is going to be very, very good, given a little bit more time, because they literally came up. I don't know how much Blast played with them, but they picked up literally fresh out the gate Spart and I think I call him Spart and Vivid. So that's cool. Whatever. Let's talk about OGLA. Are they getting better? Well, here's the thing. They started out playing in the LA home series, and that was against the Gorillas. They end up getting, I don't think they got shit on. I'm pretty sure they didn't get shit on. But they had close games. They looked defeated. They lost the first 2 and then reverse swept them. That was fantastic. Amazing. And you could see in their eyes at the end of the match, not in between games, but at the end of the match, they were actually fired up a little bit. Not only that, but they destroy, not beat, but they destroy Minnesota Rocker, which they end up placing second in the tournament. So that's amazing. They destroyed Minnesota Rocker. So I'm interested to see how they go on. They did end up losing in the semifinals to Dallas. They won the first hard point pretty convincingly, but then lost S&D 6-2, lost their Dom really close. That's another really good match to watch, actually. That one in particular. Excuse me. And then they lost the hard point 250 to 204. So here's the KDs from over the weekend. Again, KDs don't say the whole story, but you can get an idea. Dashy running a sub is not a bad fucking idea at all. That's the kind of stats you get from him running the sub just after a couple weeks of practice. That's incredible. J-Caps and the negative the whole way across, especially in the S&D. But he did have some clutch plays, so it is what it is. Kenny's worst stat is a .97. That's not even bad. But, I mean, I highlighted the negatives, but look at the turnaround this team had. Positive, 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 positive. 0.14, or 1.14. Shut up. Slashers, a 1.2, 1.2, 1.6, and Dom. Oh, my God. This is OGLA. And I said this from the beginning, one of my favorite teams, and it's because the potential this team has. It was amazing watching TJ Halley actually coming out. Dasher was putting on triples like he was nothing. Slasher, they didn't even talk about him very much, but look at these numbers he put up. Insane. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about was the Atlanta versus Minnesota semifinals. And yeah, Atlanta lost. It was 3-2. It was not a reverse sweep. I got them laid out here. Minnesota takes the first hard point. FaZe takes the S&D and the Dom, which the Dom was amazing. That was so good how FaZe was able to play that. They were trying something different too, I think, but look how close the hard point was, only by 3 points, and then they lost to S&D. So it's kind of interesting. All of this, I made sure to put this in here, but all of FaZe, their KD was all around a 1, but not super negative, but there were a couple times where it was actually really high above 1. So they were still playing individually well. I think it's just Minnesota Rocker has teamwork, like their chemistry, their teamwork. They know how to play the game. Like that's just it. That's how they ended up winning, in my opinion. Talk about Dallas real quick. Wow, I put this out. So they ended up winning. That's why, because I wanted to show everything. So Dallas ends up winning. Fantastic. That's my favorite team. I've been championing them since the beginning. Clayster's my favorite player. So blah blah blah. They 3-1 New York Subliners. Here's the scores right here if you want to. Nothing really super crazy. They do get 3-0'd by Atlanta, but look, hard point was 250 to 241. S&D could have been a little bit better, and then the Dom was pretty damn close too. So they're playing Atlanta close still. There's not much else to say about that. They 3-0 the Florida Mutineers. That's a decent score. That's okay, and that's pretty close. So Florida is still doing pretty damn good, despite not having Prestini and coming off of their second place win. They 3-1 Optic Gaming, which was a really fun series to watch. When I was watching it, it felt a lot closer than this, but I guess they ended up, they did pretty good. Well, I don't know. That's pretty close. And that's pretty close. So I guess it is pretty close. I don't know. And then at the finals, they play Minnesota Rocker, and they win the first 2 and almost get reverse swept, but then the S&D was a 6-2, so it was damn near a shutout at that point. It was fantastic watching it. They could have won domination. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they did pretty damn good, so fantastic overall. They end up winning. Here are the stats for each of the players. Shotzi's getting better. Illy's getting better. Hook was wonderful to watch. Hook was, I don't know, Hook was amazing. He had a bunch of clutch plays, but when you look at Clay, he was probably the MVP. If they had an MVP, that was it. But the one thing I want to talk about real quick before I go to the CDL standings is the only thing that sucks about the scenario Dallas winning is they did not have to play Chicago, and they did not have to play Atlanta, at least in an elimination match or a finals, which I think Atlanta FaZe, I feel like their fan base is like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, not that big of a deal, but Chicago Huntsmen, fuck you guys. Not your team, but fuck your fans. Literally, I don't know if I've seen a single positive Huntsman fan. Like, fuck you guys. They talk shit no matter what, so I guarantee you, I haven't checked because I really don't want to. I guarantee you they're like, oh, they still haven't beat Chicago. Ooh, they probably would have lost FaZe. Ooh, blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, they won. They won, and you cannot take that away from them. It's not their fault. They won what they needed to win, so suck it. So here's the new standings. Again, Chicago Huntsman fans, you can suck a huge one because Atlanta FaZe is now in first. Now, you can see they're tied in CDL points, but the reason is because right here, they both have won 26, but their game loss is different. So Atlanta FaZe has lost a lot less than Chicago Huntsmen have. Dallas is finally in the spot I think a lot of people think they deserve to be in. They are in third with 80 points. Minnesota Rocker in fourth, where a lot of people think they should be. So this is starting to look pretty good. Some fun things to note. So New York Subliners, Toronto Ultra, and the Los Angeles Guerrillas still only have 10 points. Surge ended up winning one time, I think, to get them up to 20. Optic Gaming is no longer on a donut. It's fantastic. They have 20 points now, and they are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are close. Well, they're at the top half of the bottom half, if that makes sense. I don't know, but that's just a much better representation of where the CDL is at, I think. And the biggest part is they have all played 3 games, so this is pretty fair. One last thing, I forgot to mention this. OGLA, they have literally still only lost to the hard teams. Dallas, who won. Florida, Paris, Chicago, Atlanta. I think all of the hard teams are the teams that they're losing against. So if we were to look at these bottom teams, I have no doubt in my mind that they would be able to beat those teams. And maybe even, I think even the Ravens. I think they're probably tied with Florida and Paris, in my opinion, as far as their skill level right now. They're going to destroy the next tournament. I have faith, but that's all I wanted to talk about this time. So leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below letting me know if you watched it, what team you were rooting for, and how they ended up doing. And then subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.